Well, I wasn't expecting this.
Just bought the car and it's got over 200,000 miles on it.
Fair.
It has some issues.
I feel so stupid. You're probably not quite going to believe what is on this piece of paper in front of me. So the last thing you ever normally do when buying a £4,500 Range Rover is take it to Range Rover. And that's because their service department will charge the entire GDP of a small country just to have a look inside the engine bay. But having said that, Land Rover are doing a £99 inspection service at the moment. And well, that's exactly what I need. I need some information. I need someone to have a proper look at this car and tell me what's going on. And one thing I know about Land Rover for sure, the main dealer, is they're going to tell me every little thing that's wrong with it. What it does mean is that I get a 20-minute drive in the car this morning, which is really exciting because this, truthfully, has just been sat on the driveway awaiting, well, an inspection and then repairs. I made sure the coolant was topped up before we left, and I'll be having a very leisurely drive over, which, do you know what? That's no sweat, because that's exactly how you want to drive these cars, in a leisurely fashion. But if I ignore this car's ailments for just a moment, it is so wonderful to be in here. I can't begin to tell you how comfortable these seats are, how lovely this wooden steering wheel feels in my hand, and actually I've got this part of it heated right now, which is fantastic. I've driven hundreds of cars now, and no matter how many I experience, whenever I get back inside an L322, there's just no feeling like it. There is a reason these cars have become so popular, because whenever people finally cave to the masses online telling them how great an L322 is, well, that's it, because as soon as you get in one, as soon as you experience one, you catch the bug. But I think a more accurate way to describe it is you become addicted to crack, with crack being this. Because let's face it, you've got to be pretty addicted to something to want to get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, to drive somewhere and be told only that you've got to spend your annual salary on some new wheel nuts. But what can I say? I bloody love it, and I'm very excited to see what they have to say. But I am also quite nervous because of that judder that we weren't able to fix. When I went to buy the car, obviously I thought maybe it was engine related, misfire related, but I feel so stupid now that I realise it's probably the gearbox, because my other L322 has exactly the same issue. Slightly different gearbox, of 5-speed in that one, but it has this same sort of rev hunting and labouring. And this car is feeling similar, actually. Now that I've got gearbox in mind, I think maybe we're onto something with that. And when I say gearbox, likely the problem is actually the torque converter. But the question will be if this gearbox is salvageable or if it's going to need taking out and replacing. That's the thing that's going to make or break this car financially for me. But nonetheless, Land Rover might just be about to ruin my day.
I'm dropping off for a vehicle health check.
Did you have any questions to your advisor this morning?
Not particularly. I mean, I just bought the car and it's got over 200,000 miles on it.
Fair.
It has some issues. It's got coolant level low at the moment, but I noticed that it has got coolant in it. It's obviously just the sensor's gone. It's not the nicest car.
I want to see it now.
It could be really nice.
As you can hear, I'm a little bit nervous about dropping off my ultra high mileage L322 to a main dealer, especially parked next to that gorgeous L460. I feel somewhat like I've brought a knife to a gunfight. But the lady on the desk was extremely nice and sounded somewhat interested in my high mileage endeavour. But when the service advisor arrived, I realised I should ask him about if they had any online history for this car.
Do you know if I've just bought this car?
Yep.
It doesn't have that much history with it, but are you able to look on your system and see if it's been...
Yeah, the online service history.
Really? So what? So it's basically never been bought here then?
It's never been bought here. So by the looks of things.
Never been bought to a Land Rover?
Never been bought to
That's so funny.
Yeah.
So I left the car with the main stealers, got a taxi home and awaited that phone call. I spent the afternoon wondering whether I might have to sell one of my cars, or perhaps one of my kidneys, or even my firstborn child. Or perhaps, thanks to today's video sponsor, there might be another way. Speaking of expensive motoring decisions, case in point, this is actually a great time to talk about today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Refund Club. The FCA recently confirmed that millions of UK car finance agreements between 2007 and 2021 may have been missold because of hidden commission arrangements between lenders and dealerships. Refund Club are helping people to check whether they may be eligible to make a claim. Now, you can do this all yourself, dig out old agreements, contact lenders, deal with the back and forth, or Refund Club can simply just do it for you. You spend around 60 seconds entering your details. They pull together your agreements, check them against lenders, and if a claim looks valid, it gets passed to their in-house law firm. And here's the interesting bit. If you've had multiple finance agreements over the years, each one is checked separately. So if you finance 2 or 3 cars between 2007 and 2021, that could potentially mean multiple claims getting looked at. They cover most of the major lenders too: Black Horse, Santander, Moto Novo, Mercedes Finance, Barclays, and loads more, and they're rated excellent on Trustpilot. So if you financed a car in that period and want to see if you might be owed something, click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to do the free 60-second check. So I got the phone call and, well, shocked, confused, disappointed. I don't really know how to put it into words, but I've got the car back with me now, so that's a good thing. But you're probably not quite going to believe what is on this piece of paper in front of me. And if that's not an omen, I don't know what is. So Land Rover did the £99 mid-service check with essential fluid top-ups. They looked over the whole car, although sadly no inspection video.
Welcome to your complimentary vehicle health check. Red items require immediate attention. Amber items are advisory, and any green items pass the visual inspection today.
Boring. They reviewed the condition of the tyres, brakes, underside of the car, under the bonnet, the electrics, and things like the operation of the seatbelts, and graded all of these things from green to red. And so the moment you've all been waiting for, the total quote for all of the urgent items they found on my 216,000 mile, 15-year-old Range Rover, drum roll please, right there, 200 quid. Yeah, I know, right? 200 quid. I was expecting like 200 grand. The £206.51 is to replace the coolant expansion tank and coolant sensor, which is obviously the reason for our erroneous coolant level low warning. They did also flag that the tyre on the spare wheel in the back is 80% worn, and so that got a red marker as well, although no cost associated with it, because obviously it doesn't affect the driving of the car. There was one amber flag, which was to test and recharge the battery for £369.60, which sounds more like a battery replacement, to be honest. But I do actually have one of these C-Tech chargers, which are really good, so I'll plug it into that and that will tell me if the battery has a problem. So yeah, when I received the phone call to essentially tell me that the car was all good, I practically fell off my chair, but not for the same reason that I thought I would. So it's a relief to know that from a visual inspection at least, this 216,000 mile Range Rover isn't about to snap in half. However, one thing Land Rover can't tell me more about or diagnose from just looking at the car is that judder issue, and that is what's keeping me up at night. I have a sneaky suspicion that it is the torque converter causing the judder issue, and perhaps I was barking up the wrong tree in the last video when I cleared and cleaned the MAF sensors. The thing is though, the judder normally happens and then at the same time the car throws an engine light, and then when you scan that it comes up with P0236 turbo or supercharger boost pressure. So I've decided I need to try and get to the bottom of this myself. So I figured the best place to start would be without spending any money and to do some of my own diagnosis. I've been going out late at night when the roads are clear and using my ThinkCar machine to run live parameters whilst trying to recreate the judder. That way we can see if there are any abnormal readings that might point firstly towards a misfire, or instead maybe something to do with the gearbox. For the engine, I monitored the fuel injection and the misfire counters amongst a few other things, and interestingly when the judder happened, none of the parameters really spiked. But even more strangely, it was the same with the gearbox. There was no huge discrepancy between the gearbox torque RPM and the engine speed, which would definitely indicate some slippage. and in general there was just nothing I could see that really gave me an obvious clue. If I had to bet the house on it though, I would still say that it's probably the gearbox / torque converter causing the issue. Now it does seem like on these L322s you're actually able to replace the torque converter independently, and including fitting, most specialists will probably be able to do this for around £1,500 to £2,000, which as a last case resort isn't the end of the world. But there is something we can try that's a little cheaper first. About 4 years ago I watched this video from Sam's Motor and Machine, another L322 enthusiast, and he had this very nice gentleman come along to his house and do something called a mega flush. The man that did this was Ian Bodsey of Updates by Bodsey, and so I dropped him a message. Now a gearbox mega flush is a specialised multi-stage service that replaces nearly 100% of a vehicle's transmission fluid and cleans internal components. The difference is that with a traditional gearbox service, only around 40% of the old fluid is removed because trapped oil remains in the torque converter and cooler. A mega flush uses a dedicated machine to circulate the entire system. Now the cost for this is approximately £300 to £500, and for my 5 litre with the 6-speed specifically, I've been quoted £335. There's a relatively good chance of this improving the car, as my car's not thrown any transmission faults. Normally by that point the consensus is that it's probably a bit too late. But anyway, I've booked Ian in and we'll be seeing him next week. So I think the best approach to give us the biggest chance of keeping this car on the road without costs massively spiralling out of control straight away is to start with that gearbox mega flush. Now if that improves the car, then happy days, we can move on to the coolant leak and just give this car a proper good clean, because boy does it need it. If that doesn't work, then I think my next plan will be to order a smoke tester, run that through the air system in the car to see if there's any leaks, and then to do a full engine service as well. Change the oil, change the spark plugs, probably change the ignition coils as well, because remember the only solid clue we have is that P0236 code, which obviously points to the car having an engine problem and not a gearbox problem. But let's face it, for the money I paid, this is a brilliant car, and despite all of the problems that it's facing, it is, well, currently running and driving, and pretty nicely too. So one option is I just, you know what, leave it as it is and just drive it until it breaks. £4,500 to run one of these 5 litre supercharged autobiographies without any worries for, well, I don't know, how long would it hang on for? 6 months, a year, maybe 2 days? I don't know, but that would be boring. And also with this car having well over 216,000 miles, it's had an incredible life, and so it deserves the TLC that it needs. All your comments and suggestions on this series so far have both been very helpful and entertaining, so please do keep them coming. And I think if we can get this thing back up to scratch, then I'll take it, my wife and child that I've not sold, up to Scotland on a road trip, and we'll go to our favourite hotel. If you would like to help us make that happen, then please hit that big red subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.